Hi students, so last time we've talked about how to draw a frequency distribution table and how to draw a histogram. So for this lesson, we'll talk about how to draw a cumulative frequency table and a cumulative frequency polygon. So first of all, what is the difference between them? Okay, we will dive into an example and then talk about the difference. So for this example, it's on your book, page 4.32. Okay, you can check your book. So the following table shows the time spent by 2 students on physical exercise per week. Okay, so first of all, you have the time and then the unit. Okay, this is important. Okay, we've talked about it before. So remember, you have to consider the unit. And then the first class interval is 16 to 45 minutes, 46 to 75 minutes, and so on. So you see, okay, all these numbers are corrected to the nearest integer. So what happened is, okay, for example, you measure your time spent on physical exercise. For example, Tony, okay, he says he spent 36 minutes and 15 seconds, okay? So you won't tell that to your teacher, okay, because that is too accurate, okay? You will first round off to 36 minutes, right? So because 15 seconds is less than half a minute, so you will round down to 36 minutes. And then 36 minutes is in the first class interval. Okay, so this is 16 to 45. So you will put it into the first class interval. Okay, so there is two numbers you have to consider. This is actually the actual time span. And this number is the reported number, okay, or we call that the measured value, measured time. Okay, so actually for this number, okay, first row is the measured time, okay, what number you will report to your teacher. And then, okay, we back to the concept. So for example, we look at these class interval as boxes, right? So these are the boxes we have. Okay, so I will speed it up a bit. Okay, 76, 105, 106, 135, 136, and 165. I remember these numbers are called the class limit. Okay, so for example, 16 is the lower class limit of the first class interval. Okay, lower class limit of the first class interval. So 75 will be the upper class limit of the second class interval. Okay, so this is the class limit. So remember, these numbers are all the measure time. Okay, I will use a color yellow to highlight it. So these are the measure time. But then remember, actually, okay, what happened to the gap? Okay, there is some gap here. So what happened to the number 45.3, for example? Okay, remember, for the number 45.3 minute, you will first round it down to 45. And then actually, so this is the first class interval. In the first class interval, right? So actually 45.3 here belongs to the first group. And similarly, for some number larger, 45.8, for example, here, belongs to the second group. So what is the actual boundary? Okay, what is the line that separates the first class interval and the second class interval? Is the middle between 45 and 46. That is 45.5. Because this is the line, the boundary that separates the two groups, so we call this the class boundary. Okay, so we can draw all these lines here. So this is the line that separates these two groups. Okay, 105.5, 135.5. So imagine you have a group before it. So that will be 15, right? So this line is 15.5. And then imagine there is a group after. So that is 166, right? So the line will be 165.5. So these are the class boundary. So remember, all numbers that fall between 15.5 to 45.5, the actual time, will fall into this group. So remember this number, oh sorry, should use a highlighter. These number are recording to the actual time, okay? We are recording to the actual time. So now, I have a question, okay? So for actual time, how many students spent less than 15.5 minutes? So time less than 15.5 minutes. How many of them spend less than that? It's 0, right? No one, okay? No one. You cannot see the group here. So no one, 0. And then my next question is, how many students spend less than 45.5? Okay, this is the line 45.5. So less than 45.5 means this group. So that is 6, right? So you know, okay, why I have to put class boundary here. So these are the class boundary. So why can't I say less than 45 minutes? So why can't I put 45 here? Because even 45.3 belongs to the first class interval. So in these 6 people, okay, these 6 people, some of them may spend 45.3 minutes, and it belongs to this group. So if you just write less than 45, then you don't know it's all the 6 students in this group, okay? So remember, the separation line is the class boundary. We have to prove class boundary here. So this is the main difference with histogram. For example, do you still remember for histogram we use class mark, and then for this one we use class boundaries. Okay, class boundaries. Okay, so we can continue. Okay, I first write down all the class boundary first. 135.5 and 165.5. So how many students is spend less than 75.5 minutes? It's these two groups, right? So that is 6 and 12. So this is 6. Is 12. So 6 plus 12, 18. So how many less than 105.5? It's all these 3 groups, right? So this is 105.5. So you add them up, 6 plus 12 plus 14. So that gives you 32. And then similarly, you just add them all up, 6 plus 12 plus 14 plus 8, 40. And then this is 40, and then add the new group 42. So this is frequency, right? But not just frequency. It's the cumulative frequency. Cumulative. 累積. Okay, in Chinese mean 累積. So you add them up. So it's the cumulative frequency. So remember in exam, 3 things, okay? First of all, what you write down in the first row is time less than. You have to put this word, less than. Secondly, you have to put class interval. Class boundaries, okay? Class boundaries in the first row, okay? These are the class boundaries. And then, final thing you have to remember is, the second row is the cumulative frequency, okay? Don't forget the word cumulative, okay? And then, for the next video, we will talk about how to draw the cumulative frequency polygon, okay?